Live pictures of a rainy Taipei, Taiwan, just past 7 a.m. in the morning tomorrow morning. Bipartisan group of the House of Representatives are there right now. The visit's really an act of defiance towards the Chinese who have plans to invade the country. Here's the House Foreign Affairs Chair Mike McCaul in Taiwan.
Being here, I think, sends a signal to the Chinese Communist Party that the United States supports Taiwan and that we're going to harden Taiwan, and we want them to think twice about invading Taiwan.
They will meet with the president of Taiwan this weekend. The House Speaker met with the president of Taiwan yesterday. The Chinese have called that a great mistake and promised to retaliate. Admiral William McRaven is with us, former commander for U.S. Special Operations Forces, among other things. New book is called Wisdom of the Bullfrog, Leadership Made Simple but Not Easy. We'll get to the book in a minute. Admiral, I'm wondering, as you look at the U.S. military right now vis-a-vis China, are we ready for them to invade Taiwan and for the U.S. to live up to the commitment President Biden made to defend it?
Yeah, I mean, we have been looking at a potential, Chinese invasion for years. We've talked about this kind of pivot to Asia for a while. So if you take a look at last year's defense budget and the proposed budget for 2024, you're going to see that the bulk of those expenditures are on things like F-35s and new submarines and new ships, the things we would need in order to deter China from an invasion of Taiwan.
I got that. I guess the next point is, if it happened today, before all those expenditures have happened, as the Chinese keep drilling, would we be ready?
Yeah, of course we'd be ready. I mean, the Asia Pacific commanders, the Pacific Fleet, the forces we have in the military in the Asia Pacific regions are absolutely focused on this. Now, would it be easy? No. Would it cost a lot of lives both on the Chinese side and on the U.S. side and with our allies? Absolutely. But make no mistake about it. China does not want to go to war with the United States, and the United States doesn't want to go to war with China. So one of the things people need to understand is we need to hold the Chinese accountable. We need to hold them accountable for the Uyghurs. We need to hold them accountable for Hong Kong. We need to hold them accountable when they violate the WTO. But we also need to find some common ground with the Chinese. Common ground on trade, common ground on climate, something that allows us to have a dialogue with the Chinese, because if we keep pushing them away, then we are going to push them into the arms of the Russians, and then that alliance will be incredibly strong. So the best thing to do is figure out how do you separate them from the Russians. And again, you have to hold them accountable. We have to have a strategy of deterrence within the Asia Pacific region. We have to be strong, but we also have to find opportunities to engage them and find common ground with the Chinese.
All right. One of the things we know the Chinese watched and that has emboldened them is the American withdrawal from Afghanistan. And at the time, they sort of poked fun at the United States over it. Now, almost 2 years later, the current administration that was in power, that was the commander-in-chief during the withdrawal, is blaming the Trump administration for the death of the 13 service members in the debacle that happened at Kabul, an area you know well. Here's Admiral Kirby today talking about that from the White House podium.
This document and this effort isn't about accountability today. It's about understanding.
In the book, Wisdom of the Bullfrog, great leaders accept responsibility and the accountability. Always ensure your actions and decisions are moral, legal, and ethical. Is the Biden administration sidestepping responsibility and accountability when it comes to Afghanistan?
Yeah, here's what I tell you, Leland. When you are the commander-in-chief, you are responsible, and you and your administration are held accountable or should be held accountable. You can't blame it on the guy that came before you. Now, one of the things, and I have obviously not seen the report that is landing in Congress, but one thing that the American people should be incredibly proud of is the courage and the heroism of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and some of the civilians that were on the ground there in Kabul trying to evacuate these 125,000 Afghans. And while history will tell the tale of this evacuation, the fact of the matter is the young men and women who are serving today, who went on the ground there in Afghanistan, did a remarkable job in terms of their courage.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.